That's right. That's right. Well, thank you.
Madam Chair, to 6:30.
Okay. The meeting will come to order. My understanding is the mic's off, but it doesn't sound like it's on.
Yes, it does.
It's on.
It's off? Okay. So you're going to have to bear with us. We'll probably be speaking louder than we usually do.
Oh, it's on.
It's on.
Power failure.
I believe them. Okay, well, forget what I just said. Never mind. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Roll call. Roll call. United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, can you read the roll, please?
Marco T. Camacho.
Here.
Lynn Underwood Segley.
Here.
John F. Flores.
Here.
Catherine E. Leonard.
Here.
Justin S. McLaughlin.
Here.
Jean Marie Napolitano.
Here.
Naomi Neville.
Here.
There is a quorum present, Madam Chair.
Okay, has anyone signed up for the citizens forum?
No, they have not.
Okay. First order of business, please.
The consent calendar.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the consent calendar in its entirety with the exception of item A5.
Second. There's a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Application for a special event license, Wendy Irwin, DBA Advanced Power Services, N.A. Inc.
Yes, Councilor McLaughlin.
Actually, I think, well, I'll speak then. I just want to point out that several years ago, the council passed a resolution which discouraged setting off fireworks during the school, on a school night. It did not make its way into the ordinance, so what they're asking for is permitted, but I think they've indicated they'd rather start at 9:30 rather than 9 o'clock. I just want to make the point that while there aren't a lot of students, children who live out in the area that this display is going to be put on, I think we do need to take into consideration that there can be noise associated with it, and we did get calls in the past from parents because their children were being woken up by fireworks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And just for the audience, the location is on a barge off Castle Hill, so. Is there any other discussion? Kate?
Pardon me?
Any more discussion?
No.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to amend the start time to 9:30 p.m.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to amend to 9:30 p.m. Any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Counselor.
as long as the understanding is that they have to be finished by 10.
Well, it's only a 10-minute display.
Right, but it's almost
Okay.
in my own mind, they had from 9 to 10 to do it, so
Okay,
it's almost unnecessary, but just
okay.
to make sure they're finished by 10.
Thank you. Any other discussion on the amendment? All in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve as amended.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve as amended. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Application for a vittling license, Rui's Kitchen, Inc., DBA Firehouse 595, 595 Thames Street.
Okay, this is an application. It's a new application for Rui's Kitchen at 5 Wellington Ave. Is there, I move to approve?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Appointments to boards and commissions.
Yes, we have several appointments. The Planning Board, I make a motion to appoint John Oliveira.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Affirmative Action Committee, I make a motion to appoint Cynthia Smothers.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Commission, I make a motion to appoint Kerry Kluger.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution changing the start time of the September 23rd, 2015 regular city council meeting in observance of Yom Kippur.
Yes, this resolution is changing the time of our meeting in observance of Yom Kippur from 6:30 to, I believe, 7 o'clock.
7, with the pre-meeting at 6:50.
The pre-meeting, that's our meeting before the meeting, is at 6:50. I move passage.
Second.
There's a motion and second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution addressing the need for compliance from commercial bus companies to obey all city ordinances.
Yes, Counselor Segley, please.
Yes, should I read the resolution, or should I just explain it? I mean,
Explain it.
Okay.
I think it's better.
This resolution is part of what I think of a multi-pronged approach to ridding commercial vehicles from weight-restricted streets. And the focus lately has actually been on Annandale with the Salve shuttle issue. But in all honesty, Annandale came up a lot this summer, and I've got a lot of phone calls because of congestion and because buses and trucks were on Annandale when they were not supposed to be. So the city installed a flashing sign at Annandale and Narragansett to stop commercial buses and trucks from using Annandale as a pass-through, and on top of that, enforcement has been stepped up. So the other thing that I'd like to do is tackle ambiguous signage in that area also. Now this resolution is to ask the city manager to write a letter to specify that these weight-restricted roads are not to be driven on by commercial vehicles over 5,000 pounds. And I would like the resolution, the letter attached with the resolution, with the ordinance and the list of weight-restricted streets. And that this letter will actually be sent to organizations that rely on commercial buses for their business, and that this letter would be forwarded to transportation companies and in particular into individual drivers as a stern warning that the city will not tolerate these infractions. Now, my understanding is that these organizations that rely on commercial vehicles for business don't stipulate the routes that the transportation companies take, but they do stress that the ordinances are abided by. But I have a feeling that with the GPS being used and just basic disregard for the weight-restricted streets, that buses and trucks are used on these weight-restricted roads. So I think that this is sort of a call to action to say that the city's just not going to take this anymore. And I'm hoping that with everyone's cooperation that we will be able to change the way these transportation companies work, and that we will have safer and less congested streets.
Discussion.
Madam Chair?
Yes. Did you have a motion, please?
Yes.
And I'll second.
I make a motion that this resolution that the City Council is requesting the city staff to draft a communication that explicitly states that the commercial bus companies are to obey all city ordinances, with emphasis on these ordinances related to no-through or weight-restricted streets. And be it further resolved that the communication shall be forwarded to all known organizations operating buses that exceed the above referenced weight restriction, to advise that City Newport expects compliance with all city ordinances.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Counselor.
I'm happy to see this. I look at it as a continuation of 2 weeks ago and moving up the ladder and another step for when we passed the resolution about asking to look at traffic, and it was discussed at that time, and I think Councilor Segley hit it totally. All the complaints, I can tell you for my ward,
It's been the worst year of complaints for traffic congestion and impact on traffic on residential zones, especially commercial vehicles. So I'm happy to support this, and I'm really glad that we are continuing the discussion with the hope of improving it, so next summer is not a repeat of this one.
I think someone from the audience wants to
Okay.
address the council.
Yes, please. To the mic and your name, please, and address.
Good evening. My name is Lauren Carson. I live on Willow Street. I'm really thrilled to hear you say this, and I just want to add a comment. There are other ordinances that the buses aren't complying with, and that's particularly the 5-minute idling rule. And so I don't mean to put a little monkey wrench in your plan, but that's one that I've had my eye on for compliance as well. So if there's a way to look at that also, I'd appreciate that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion from council? I have a question, Mr. Bean. I too, I support the general concept, but then I got to wondering, because I saw my street on here, Malbone Road, and if I could tell you the number of trucks that come on Malbone, and I'm just wondering, moving vans, oil trucks where people need to get their oil,
Well, the truck, there are.
is there exceptions? I mean,
Well,
Well,
it's,
yes.
Through street.
it says through street, so you're not supposed to use it as a means of going your transportation plans through that street. If you have a destination on that street, such as an oil truck is a very good example. We've been talking about buses. Oil truck, they could be construction vehicles. You could have moving vans that have to move a house. Obviously, they can't park a mile away and hope to put the furniture on and that. But if there's a destination, if they're going to a destination that is on the road, then they're not violating the no-through street. Obviously, Annandale's a great example because it's a cut-through for Bellevue Avenue, and they use it for transportation from Narragansett through to Memorial Boulevard.
So you have to have business on that street in
Well,
order to
I'm
be
telling you
on-
right
in
now,
order for a
everybody must
1,000-pound
have-
truck to be on that street.
Everybody must have business on Malbone Road. But the other thing, and you're saying the no-through streets, and what I will just say, I've never voted for a no-through street because most of them go through. It's used as access for locals. I mean, let's be honest about it. All these no-through streets, how many people have you seen stop or say, I can't get to here, or I can't go up this? And I just think it's kind of, it's different. I realize they're trying to take care of the locals, but I just wanted to mention it. But I would support this. The other thing is, I did my GPS, and it's true. I think when they think there's a lot of traffic in Newport, they take them down Annandale as opposed to Bellevue. And I was really surprised by that, so I'm not sure.
GPS is always looking for the shortest route also.
Right,
So the
right.
shortest route from Ochre Point Avenue is not through Bellevue Avenue, it's through Annandale. And so that's why we had this sign put up saying no trucks, no buses at that corner, which from what I understand, has helped somewhat. But I think that we need to take action as a council to say that we just do not want these heavy trucks and buses on our streets as pass-through.
I agree.
So
Yes,
I have a
Council.
question for Chris and Joe. In addition to the ordinances that Lauren Carson just mentioned, are there any additional ordinances that you can think of that could be applicable to this truck situation we're dealing with?
Not offhand, there could be others. I mean, it depends how far out you want to go in terms of what they might be doing. I mean, certain construction vehicles, you might not be able to, you can't block the street, that type of thing. You need some kind of permit, obstruction permits, things like that. But talking about not only the through streets, but also idling buses and that. I mean, we could go through the ordinances and see what else could apply
And
that's
again,
being
I
violated.
just-
Being new, and relatively new in my position, is this an issue that's been brought up in the past that people have discussed?
We've had instances like this on the weight-restricted issues many times in the past, and in fact, I've been here a long time. I can go back 25 years and tell you that we've litigated issues regarding weight-restricted, or through streets, as it were, and the tonnage that's allowed, or our ability to restrict, which was upheld. So, but in my recollection, the two primary complaints would be the weight-restricted, the through streets, as it were, and the idling buses issue has come up before as well.
It's come up a few times.
I'd like to not water this down either.
No,
I mean, I
I'm
would
not
like
watering
this
it
to
down.
No, that's not
I
the
would like
purpose.
this to be as it is with the weight-restricted streets, and, you know, perhaps we can attach the idling ordinance as well, but as far as anything else, I think I would like to see it as it stands.
Is there any other discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Councilor McLaughlin.
Mr. Solicitor, is the term no-through street something which is commonly understood, or do we need to clarify what it means in our ordinance to make it easier to enforce it?
I don't think so. I mean, I think it has a common usage in the traffic industry. I've never seen any of the violations. I haven't been made aware of any violations that were maybe overturned or dismissed because a driver did not understand what that means. So I think it's a term of art that is understandable to most drivers. I'm not sure how else we would define it, where we could put it on a sign that's someone can read by looking up and seeing it.
Well, I wasn't thinking in terms of the sign so much as, you know,
The ordinance.
it is the term no-through street well-defined as a term, such that somebody looking it up, they could say, well, that's what that means. I was pretty old before I realized it really didn't mean that you couldn't go through it.
It can be in the ordinance. We can obviously add a section in the ordinance that defines what that means. That can always be done. It's not going to hurt anything to do that. If anyone felt there was a need or felt more comfortable if it was done, we could certainly do that. That means that have the exceptions for anyone who has business or has an intent to stop at one of the houses or places along the route. We could easily carve out an exception that's in the ordinance.
Madam Chair?
Yes,
Also,
Councilor.
one other thing that I'd like to bring up is that some of the ambiguous signage that we have, I mean, for instance, at the Annandale and Narragansett, there's just a truck with a line through it. It just really didn't tell the story as to what was really supposed to happen on Annandale, that these large 5,000-pound trucks and buses are not supposed to be on there. So I think we need to fix some of the signage. Also, there is signage, like, for instance, on streets that run perpendicular to Annandale, such as Slocum, and there is another one of those little, truck with a line through it. And so people who lived on Slocum thought that they were living on a street where these trucks were not supposed to be going through, but that's not the case, that those signs were really in anticipation of Annandale. So we need to find a way to make the signage clearer for people so that they know exactly what is, what they're living on, and, how they're supposed to be driving on it.
We can address that in the future. Right now, we have your resolution at hand. You have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion?
Madam Chair?
Yes, Councilor.
I'd ask the sponsor of the resolution, would she entertain an amendment that would include the no idling? I mean, if we're going to communicate to the buses, we might as
Yes.
well
Yes,
give.
I would.
So I'd make a motion to amend the resolution to have administration add, at a minimum, the regulations dealing with the idling, and if there are any other substantial or significant regulations, that we include them at the same time.
Second.
There's a motion and second. Discussion? Hearing none.
Aye.
On the amended motion?
On the amendment.
On the amendment? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. The original motion as amended?
Second.
There's a motion and second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Second reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 5.70 entitled Special Events.
Yes, members of the council, this is an ordinance adding section to the disposal of solid waste and recyclable materials at special events. This is a second reading. I move passage.
Second.
There's a motion, second discussion.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Counselor.
We delayed the second reading of this ordinance to give the city administration time to do whatever preparation was needed so that we could enforce it. I would just ask for assurance from the city manager that what needs to be done to make sure this ordinance can be enforced has
Yeah,
been.
We've the Clean City Coordinator is actually one step ahead of the matter, and she's prepared a number of literatures on the topic that we're going to implement as soon as you pass this
Great.
ordinance that will be included on the special event license application. She's coordinated with the city clerk, and I think they're pretty far ahead of the issue.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Action number 5436.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to continue this action item to the September 23rd meeting.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Action number 5437.
Yes, Madam Chair, the Department of Public Services recommends the awarding of the contract associated with Easton's Beach parking lot chip seal to the lowest bidder, Comer Contracting of Framingham, Connecticut. The cost of this work will not exceed the total amount of $84,450. The total price includes $67,950 for anticipated contract construction work, $5,500 for police traffic control that will be paid for by the city, and $11,000 in project contingencies for additional and unanticipated work. The amount is currently budgeted. I move approval of accompanying resolution.
Second.
There's a motion and second. Discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Counselor.
I wanted to ask, this is paving a parking lot, as to what was the need for police detail to pave a parking lot that wasn't in the public right of way. It wouldn't. I understand there may be an answer, but it just struck me as odd that we'd have police details to pave a parking lot.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Counselor?
I had the same thing marked when I wrote questions on my docket. Why would we have police details when the parking lot's there and all we put up some sawhorses?
Mr. Ricchio, please.
Oh, you're back. Yeah. I was ready to
We
say
didn't think you were
that he's
here.
still in Denver, for God's sake. You jumped me.
So that is there basically as a precaution. It's a state road. We got to get big equipment in and out. We've made an assumption that we might need a couple of officers for up to 5 days. Do we really think we're going to need police details? Probably not, but we don't want to need to come back to you and say we need monies later on if we do in fact need them.
What happens if you don't spend all the
If
money?
it doesn't get spent, it goes right back into the account that it originated from.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Question?
Madam Chair, if I could,
Yes.
while the director is at the microphone, have we given any thought to doing something other than continuing to have an impermeable surface parking lot next to our beach? In the long run, maybe that's not the best thing to have there.
This has come up in the past. This is an option to maintain what we have. The last time we came forward, I believe it was probably 3 years ago now, we came in with a complete rehabilitation very similar to what we did on the west side. The topic of pervious pavements came up. We gave our opinion that due to the fine sand that continually blows into the lot that we continually have to clean up, especially after the winters. You'll notice the mounds that are against the walls that border. We just think that there is an extreme amount of maintenance that will be needed, extreme regular maintenance to keep it functioning to the levels that it would need to. So instead of going forward with a complete rehabilitation, we chose to let's maintain what we have until we have the means to look at the complete reconstruction even further.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Hearing none, are we ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Action number 5438.
Madam Chair, the Department of Public Services recommends approving a supplemental agreement to the existing contract for Bellevue Avenue joint repairs, number 15-053, with Etna Bridge Company of Warwick, Rhode Island, to amend the original contract total to include the previously approved contingency of $30,000 for a new not-to-exceed contract total of $350,295.00. The contingency will be used in order to maximize the amount of work completed before the end of the construction season, but before doing so, the contingency must be added to the original approved vendor contract amount to allow for the increase in the purchase order. The amount is currently budgeted. I move approval of the accompanying resolution.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Action number 5439.
Madam Chair, the Department of Utilities staff recommends the award of the construction contract for the water distribution main improvements, contract number 16-004, to CB Utility Company of Bristol, Rhode Island, for the sum of $903,493.80 and an allowance of $154,000 for police details paid directly by the city. The total recommended expenditure for this project shall be $1,057,493.80. The work shall be funded through the Drinking Water State Revolving Loan Fund. It is currently budgeted. I move approval of accompanying resolution.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none?
Madam Chair?
Yes,
I always
Counselor.
wait to see if somebody else wants to talk. I don't want to. Again, I'm just intrigued that, 15% of a project's cost is going to go to police details. I'm happy to hear from the director that maybe they don't always spend all that money. I think I'll be asking in the future how much money we do spend, but just the fact that the city is paying it directly doesn't mean that somebody isn't paying for it. This is taxpayer money, and I think we should be working to be safe, but to not maximize but minimize the need for police details, and I hope that we do that to the greatest extent possible.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Counselor.
I guess a quick question is, whatever happened to road closed signs? Rhetorical question.
Oh. Thank you.
We thought that.
Can I ask, in terms of where they're doing the work, it looks like it's all Middletown? Am I incorrect in saying that?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm sorry.
It's a Middletown policeman.
Your name and, please, title.
Julia Forge, Director of Utilities. Yes, these water mains are in Middletown. They're also owned and maintained by the Newport Water Division.
Okay.
We've done very minimal improvements to our water system in Middletown, so in order to be fair and equitable to all our customers.
Can I ask with the, and I know there's some sort of agreement with Middletown in sharing in cost for capital expenditure?
No, this is
Sewer.
from the utility. This is the
Oh,
utility. That's the,
You're reflecting on sewer.
I
yeah, we
am,
own
I am,
and,
you're right.
Right.
we own
Sorry.
and maintain the water mains.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Action number 5440.
5439? Oh, I'm sorry. No. You're right. Department of Utilities Water Pollution Control Division staff recommends in accordance with Section 10 supplemental agreements of contract number 15-026, design of improvements to Ruggles Avenue Pump Station with C&E Engineering, the award of Amendment 1 for the not-to-exceed fee of $52,000 $860. It is also recommended that the term of the agreement with C&E.
There's a motion and second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Action number 5441.
Madam Chair, the Department of Utilities Water Pollution Control Division staff recommends the award of a contract for engineering services for improvements to the Ruggles Avenue Deep Sewer, number 16-008, to Kleinfelder of Framingham, Massachusetts, for amount not to exceed $277,560. Funding for this project will be provided from the Water Pollution Control Enterprise Fund for capital improvements for fiscal year 2016.
Second.
I move approval of accompanying resolution.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Action number 5442.
Madam Chair, the Department of Utilities Water Division staff recommends the award of a contract for the Lawton Valley 2 million gallon water storage tank project, number 16-009, to C&E Engineering Partners of Woonsocket, Rhode Island, for an amount not to exceed $20,005. Funding for this project will be provided from the Water Division Control Capital Improvement Program. It is currently budgeted. I move approval of accompanying resolution.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to adjourn as council and convene as Board of License Commissioners.
Second.
There's a motion and second to convene as the Board of License Commissioners. I move passage of a Class F1 daily liquor license for Oliver Hazard Perry, Rhode Island, the Bowensworth Seafood Festival on October 17th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Second.
There's a motion and second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
There's a motion and second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay.
Meeting